He's a guy with a lot of BB plus tools in his kit without anything that's anything close, I think, to even an A minus quite. He's an 87 across the board from arm strength to mobility. I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is on the good side with him is, he is a very refined thrower of the football. This is a guy that's grown up with a dad that's had him all to the camps, had all those instructional guys that are experts at the position to teach him along the way. And you can feel that from him mechanically. We're talking about Cam Ward having a lot of mechanical stuff that's all over the place. With Shedeur, it's locked in. He's going to deliver the ball in the right way to give him the best chance to have that accuracy and velocity on the throws. He has give you that BB plus athleticism. This is not Deion Sanders. You get tricked a little bit of being him, the son of Sanders, thinking, oh, he's going to be like Deion was and just, he can fly. And it's like, no, he can't fly. He's got functional, good mobility, but it's not going to be anything that's, next level back there. He's tough as nails. There may be one other quarterback in this draft that's maybe more tougher than him. Two other quarterbacks in this draft maybe more tougher than him or as tough. He's a guy that did not have a good offensive line in Colorado. And what you like about him is that you don't get a lot of times with quarterbacks that are top end quarterbacks like this as much of an opportunity to see how it is when they don't have things consistently clean and good for them to be able to just do their thing, that it's hard and that they've got to fight through that. And he had to. Now, downside of that is he also threw his lineman under the bus during a press conference at one point during this year. So there's a little bit of a question with him on kind of with the mentals at times, especially coming from that Deion Sanders background with his dad, who was very, and the guy was a good teammate, but there was definitely that me side to it, which you can get away with being a cornerback in this league. But when you start acting like that, if you're a quarterback in this league, that gets hard to pull off in a building and in a locker room. I think the one thing that is I do believe is a brass tacks with him, Brendan, is that with where his arm strength is at and with being Colorado in that thin air, it doesn't show as much on his tape, right? Because you can throw in that thin air and it adds another 5, 10 yards on some throws legitimately. I mean, that's why Peyton Manning went to Denver a lot of ways, is to overcome some of his lack arm strength at the end. Right. I think he's got to go to a warm weather place or an indoor spot. And that's where, even though I am thinking he's going to go 1-2 here, that is the thing that I do wonder about with Cleveland and New York here about, okay, you're outside, winter elements, wind. Is that going to fit as much to what he does? I'm not sure on that. I do think that he's probably better suited to go to more of that kind of environment.
Yeah, and where would that be? Like, I guess you could say Tennessee's kind of a warm weather place. Yeah, New Orleans.
New Orleans would be the optimal, I think.
Yeah, let me take a look here. No, not them, not them. It's not great. It's not great if that's the way you're thinking about things, right?
No, it's not. I think Miami and these could be trade up teams, but I think Miami and the New Orleans Saints could be two teams that are kind of two quiet teams to watch out for there. Miami with Tua, they need some insurance policy there with Tua. Still a team that's trying to, with their coach, keep his job and roll through there. And then the Saints, you got Spencer Rattler, and I think that there's a good chance Derek Carr gets moved before the draft, in my opinion.
Yeah, something's got to happen there. So for me personally, I'd put him in the second round. I know he's never going to be there, but I don't know. It's hard for me to spend a first round pick on a quarterback when I think his arm talent just isn't really up to snuff.
Yeah, I would have an issue with that too. And talking about warm weather, it's, Lumen Field is kind of the opposite of the South, warm or a dorm, isn't it? As far as that weather conditions are concerned. And so it may not be with his physical skill set a fit just to the stadium, regardless of where you're picking him in the draft with that arm strength and with what you're dealing with there. So I've got a second round grade on him as well, but even that I have some hesitancy there because of that.
Right. I mean, there's the objective value of the player, and then there's the subjective where you would want your team to take him, right? There is a difference there. Like, objectively, Sanders might be worth a second round pick to me, but subjectively, I don't know if I'd want the Seahawks to take him there.
Yeah, exactly. That's right where I would feel along with it. I just wanted this. I'm very much, and I've been, like this with the building of the offense and coming back to like being dedicated to running the ball, and that you're building a team to the stadium you build in. Kind of like the opposite of what the Mariners have done for years at times. We're going to be a bunch of right-handed power hitters that strike out a lot. You're in a vacuous stadium that you need to play small ball within. So I think it is similar to football in this way, and that you want to build a team to the stadium you play in, especially with the inclement weather we have here in the Pacific Northwest.
Or you just sign Nelson Cruz 8 times, and that's like to hell with your marine layer.
That's right. Just find the guy that can blast through it.
Mm-hmm.